Welcome. We are back again with another one. And this time, as you guys can see from the title, I'm going to be answering one of the most asked questions which I've had over the past year, ever since I came on SDS. Main question, even on the street, even in public, when people ask me, like, Faysal, yo, Faze, Triple F, whatever it is, bro, whether that's online or whether that is in person. And the question which I've had a lot of people ask me, why do you support Real Madrid even though you live in London? I swear to God, the amount of people who's asked me that question, insane, bro. This time, because this is a second milestone of my own. The first milestone that I wanted to hit was the 10,000, which actually happened sooner than what I expected. This is the second milestone, and this is my 10th video that I've uploaded on YouTube. For me, I'm actually quite surprised that I've managed to be this consistent. I've been wanting to do YouTube for a long time, but I've been very lazy in the sense of, should I do it? Or when am I gonna record? Do I have the time for it? But now the fact that I've done 10 videos in the space of 3-4 weeks, it's actually I've actually surprised myself. And this is a big thank to you guys, because if you guys never gave me the reaction, the feedback that you did after the first video, after the second video, after the third video, the fact that I hit 10,000 so quickly, I'm now much more consistent, down to you guys. And this is why in this video I'm gonna be telling you why I support Real Madrid. But before I go to the video itself, as you guys know, the usual thing: like, please, share, please, and subscribe, baby. Why Madrid? Why Real Madrid? What made you support Real Madrid? Are you just another glory hunter? Are you just a fan that lives in the UK and support Real Madrid? Like, who does that? Who supports Real Madrid and they live in the UK? Bro, that's 20 clubs in the Premier League. Why don't you just pick and choose whatever club it is? Why is it Real Madrid? Are you just another glory hunter? Did you support Chelsea back in the day? What is wrong with you? You're just a plastic fan. I've heard so much of that. You know what? I can't lie, it makes me laugh, man. But now I'm gonna tell you why. And let's go back. Let's go back to the early days. Let's go back to young Faysal. Let's go all the way back. For the people that don't know, I was born and raised back home. And back home is the beautiful country of Iraq. I was born and raised there, spent 6 beautiful years. Well, at that time it wasn't beautiful. It was far from beautiful. But I still spent 6, I was about to say lovely years. I still spent 6 years at Iraq before, of course, moved on. And I moved on to Denmark before I came here to the UK. But for the people that don't know, football in the Middle East is a massive thing. Like, everyone, they bleed football. They breathe football. Like, football in the Khalij, which is basically a translation of the Gulf in the Middle East, is a massive thing. We don't have a lot of sports in the Middle East. We don't have a specific basketball. Like, especially, I'm gonna make it specific to me, to Iraq, but it's very similar to other countries like Saudi Arabia, like UAE, like Qatar, like Kuwait, like so many countries in that specific Gulf, which consists of 7 to 8 countries. Football is the only real sport. We don't have a basketball team. We don't even know what baseball is. We don't have an American rugby team. We don't have a specific massive tennis player. The only tennis player that is well known from the Middle East is, of course, Ons Jabeur, which is a female tennis player who, of course, reached the finals of the Grand Slams, but she's Moroccan. In terms of, if we make it specific to the Gulf, we don't have anyone major, bro. Football is the only sport that we know of. And in Iraq, we bleed football. Like, you guys don't know how serious football is. Football is like a safe zone. When Iraq was going through the problems that they had with the wars and the bombings and everything else, a lot of people, the safe zone was football, whether that's playing football or watching football. And myself, I grew into a Real Madrid household. My dad is a Madrid fan. Most of my family on my dad's side is literally all Madrid. Ironically enough, most of my family on my mum's side is all Barcelona. That's cousins, that's family, that's uncles, that's everything. It's all Barcelona. And in Iraq, which is very similar in the Gulf, you are either a Real Madrid fan or Barcelona fan. You're not in between. For the people that's been born and raised in the UK or came to the UK at a young age and of course grew up watching the Premier League, it's completely different. If I was, let's say if I grew up in the UK from a young age, the age of 2, 3, 4, even 7, 8, I would have grown up to support an English team. But when you're born back home, you are either a Real Madrid fan or Barcelona fan. It's that simple. If you go out and someone just randomly asks you, like, yo, you watch football? You're like, yeah, I do. They don't ask you, who do you support? It's either literally Barcelona or Madrid, which is basically, are you a Barcelona fan or are you a Madrid fan? It's that simple, bro. And the main reason for that was the coverage that we had on TV. Back in the late 90s and the early 2000s, we didn't have the coverage of the Premier League. We didn't have I don't know what at that point it was, Sky Sport, whatever it is. I think BT was introduced later on, but I think it was Sky Sport, ITV, whatever it is. We didn't have that luxury. Or even, let's say, beIN Sport. beIN Sport got introduced later on. And at that time, the only coverage that we had was La Liga. When I say La Liga, I don't mean the league as a whole. It's literally only Madrid games and Barcelona games. They would only show Madrid games and Barcelona games. But if you had a bit of money, if you were balling out, it showed you the Serie A coverage. And if you guys know, if you are a real Serie A fan, bro, in the late 90s, not just in the late 90s, in the 90s in general, and the early 2000s, Serie A was massive. AC Milan was AC Milan. Juve was going to the Champions League finals. Inter had the R9s. Roma was actually Roma. Lazio was there, bro. Serie A was popping back in the day. Now, of course, you see how they are now. Back then, it was only Real, Barca, Serie A. But most of the time, like 80%, 90%, it was only Real and Barca. So I grew up into a Madrid household. I wouldn't say forced, but the first game that I remember watching, my first ever game that I remember watching, not for 90 minutes, I was still young, was the game in the 2000, the Euro final between Italy and France. And the infamous, the goal which made FIFA had to change the rule, the golden goal of in the extra time of Trezeguet, and of course France won that game 2-1. I remember I watched a bit of that game, like flashback something to mine, but the game that I watched fully for 90 minutes, and I remember watching it as a kid back home, was the game Champions League final, Real Madrid, Leverkusen, the famous Zinedine Zidane volley, Roberto Carlos, a cross out of nowhere, so high, and the timing and the composure to Zidane to volley that first time on his left foot. I watched that game and I was like, you know what? I'm in love. If I reckon if my dad was a Barcelona fan, I would have grown up into Barcelona. Or maybe if the Dinho days. But yeah, but that game was the first game I remember watching and I was like, you know what? I'm in absolute love. Like, that's something about the Los Blancos. I left Iraq, of course, I went to Denmark, and it was the same thing. Like, it didn't change, because of course, I felt like maybe if I went directly to England, maybe it would have changed. But I went to Denmark, and for me, it continued the same thing. It was a Madrid fan, Madrid only. When I came to the UK, I understood how heavy the Prem was. Like, everything was a Premier League. It was nothing else. Like, I don't think no one spoke. I remember, like, back in school, no one spoke about La Liga. So I had to get into the mindset of, cool, like, no one talks about La Liga, no one talks about Madrid. No one talks about Barcelona. If I had to be involved with others, it had to be through Premier League talk. And what's crazy as well, if you tell them, like, bro, like, I don't support a Premier League team, the first thing they say, and it still happens till now, which is crazy, which I still don't understand, that if you support any team outside of England, you automatically get called a glory hunter, a plastic fan, which, again, like, you can support freaking Inter, you can support Valencia, and they will still look at you like, why? So the team that ended up liking, and the team that ended up rooting for, just for the sake of rooting for, and again, rooting and supporting is two completely different. And the team that ended up rooting for at that specific period was because of one man and one man only, special one, Jose Mourinho. After I started watching football, when I started watching football at the age of 5, 6 years old, I started watching it on the perspective cool. When I went to Denmark, I started learning about different leagues. Initially, it was only La Liga. When I went to Denmark, of course, I started knowing about the different people. And at that time, of course, Jose went to to Chelsea. And of course, he had that infamous period. And he had that famous quote of his own, "I'm not one of the bottles. I think I am the special one."
So I'm not one of the bottle. I think I'm a special one.
Fun story, yeah? Might as well, because Now it's just about flashbacks and stories. This is crazy. You guys might find it crazy. So I used Jose's quote, "I think I'm the special one," when I applied for university for my personal statement. For the people that don't live in the UK, I don't know how it works in different countries. When you apply for university, you have to do a personal statement. You have to basically write like a statement on why you think you're the right person for that specific subject and for that chosen university. So when I applied for the university, I put down it goes in paragraph like 1, 2, the course, the university. And the last paragraph is why do we have to pick you? Like that's the last paragraph. So I remember writing, I feel like I'm the best fit for the university because I feel like I'm the special one. I wrote that, I left it in. My tutor at that time looked at me crazy like, what the fuck? What are you thinking? What is that? So yeah, I was forced to take it up, but bro, I can't lie, man. If I left it in, and if they looked at it and read the last paragraph, like, I feel like I'm the right person for this subject in the university because I feel like I'm the special one. Ooh, what? But I feel like they would looked at it with a perspective of, you know what, this guy got bans. You know what? Let's just include him in. So of course, so yeah, I like Chelsea because of Jose. Of course, when Eden Hazard came, I remember watching a bit of Eden Hazard when he was a League R with Lille, and when he came to the Premier League, it became about like I start rooting for Eden. Like Eden was so special, and it helped that Jose at that time came back to Chelsea after his stint at Madrid. So when it came to English football, I was never attached to a club. I never felt anything for a club. I never felt like, you know what, I would love to support that team. I don't know why. I know a lot of people that support 2 different clubs, and a lot of people, like a lot of friends that support a club in England and a club outside of England. I don't know. I never saw myself as that person. I don't know why. And now 21 years later, since the first game that I watched, it hasn't changed, man. It's been Real Madrid. It's been Los Blancos. I bleed white. And people say supporting Madrid is easy. People say, you don't feel pain. You don't know what pain is. Are you crazy? You know what? I hate when people say that. Bro, my pain is different to your pain. We don't have to compare different type of pain. The way I experience pain is very different to the way you experience pains. But it doesn't mean that your pain is bigger or worse than my pain. Comparing pains is stupid. Comparing difficulties is absolute stupid, bro. Just because we've won so many trophies, just because we've had the best players in the world, just because we won 14 Champions League, what? I can't feel pain? How does that even make sense, bro? I'll tell you what pain is. Yeah? And again, my pain is very different to your pain. My pain is the fact that we went every season, every year, without reaching the knockout stage of the Champions League, without experience, without feeling a quarterfinal. We got knocked out in the knockout stage, round of 16, over and over and over and over and over again. That's my pain. 6-2, 5-0. The Champions League semi-final 2011. There's every season in La Liga, bro. That's my pain. No matter what you do, no matter what players you bring in, no matter what manager you bring in, Barcelona will just beat you in the league, fam. It felt like a routine. Between 2008 to 2014, I would say, I would go to a Clásico already knowing that we lost that game. That's the dominance that they had. That's the fear that I had as a fan, especially watching Messi and Xavi and Iniesta just doing what they had to do. That's why I love Mourinho more than any other manager for Madrid. Not because of what he's won. He hasn't won nothing. He hasn't won a Champions League. He won 1 La Liga, bro. Won 1 Copa del Rey. Won a Super Cup, yeah. That's why I love Mourinho, because he's changed that mentality about it. He gave me, even as a fan, he gave me that confidence. You know what? Why are you scared, fam? Your team is good enough to beat Barcelona. He installed that confidence in me. He did that to me. Imagine what he did that to the players. He laid the foundation for this club. He laid the foundation for us to be the winning club that we are. The success of Carlo Ancelotti and the success of Zizou all comes down to Jose, the special one, Mourinho, on what he installed and what he had to lay the foundation and the principles and the values that we had as a club. Pain continues, but imagine losing on penalties when you know you should have won that tie. When you won, La Decima should have been that year. When you know 2 players, your 2 best players, stepped up and they missed. Ronaldo first, Kaká second. That's the pain that you feel. I was going into that season knowing that we were going to win the Champions League, knowing that this year was the La Decima. I had a feeling that was going to be the La Decima year. The players that we had, everyone playing at that peak. We had Jose as well. We lose the first leg 2-1. Second leg, at home, we score the first goal, score the second goal. Pepe, with his usual bozo Pepe moments, pulls Gomez, penalty, Bayern scores, Robin, 2-1. Second half, missed couple of chances. Extra time. First half of extra time, missed couple of chances. Second half of extra time, Marcelo gets the ball, goes past Robin, goes past two people, 3 people, 4 people. He passes the ball to Ronaldo. Before the ball gets to Ronaldo, Gonzalo Al-Haywan, Ibn Al-Haywan, Higuain not mix the ball. The linesman put his hand up, offside. Why? The rules may have changed, but at that time he thought that Gonzalo Higuain interfered with the play. Gonzalo Higuain wasn't in that position. Ronaldo would have had a 1-on-1 chance with Neuer. He would have scored his hat-trick and he would have taken us to the Champions League final, and we would have faced Chelsea at Allianz Arena, and most likely, 100% likely, 200% likely, 1,000,000% likely would have won that game, and La Decima would have been brought back home, and Jose Mourinho would have been the person to bring La Decima home. That's pain, fam. Your pain might be different to my pain, but I felt pain. But with every pain, we've had success. We had the La Decima, iconic La Decima, 13-14. The season where I actually didn't think we were going to win it. We went to Bayern, Pep Guardiola. We smacked him. That's what we did to Pep, fam. Went to the final against Atleti. But then, first half, Cassius does a blunder. Godin scores 1-0 Atleti. The second half, wallah, bro, I never felt that nervous and stressed watching a game. That was the most nervous game I've ever watched. Especially that second half. The amount of chances we missed. Bale had a chance. Bale had a second chance. Isco had a chance. Ronaldo had a chance. And then the last minute, we take a quick corner. Di Maria shoots, hits, intercepts by a player, gets deflected by a player, goes out to another corner. We're going to take a short corner. We're like, you know what? It's the 92nd minute. Let's take a long corner. Xabi Alonso's like this. Jesse at that point was next to him. And then the corner gets taken. Luka Modric, 92-48. Sergio, El Capitan, Ramos. Oh my God, yo, when he scored, fam. Tears came, fam. Happy tears. 2012, I experienced emotional tears, that I cried, the sadness. When Ramos scored that goal, it's one of the best moments I've ever had. And of course, the extra time, you know what we did. Di Maria goes past 1, 2, 3. Gareth Bale, Marcelo comes on, of course, does his thing. Left foot shot, it's 3-1. And the last couple of minutes, Ronaldo, penalty, goal, takes his shirt off, celebrates the way he does, 4-1, and La Decima is finally home. And of course, we had the 3P as well. Not one time, not two times, 3 times, bro. And of course, last season, the nerve-breaking, every game that you thought you were down, you came back and won. PSG, Chelsea, City, and Liverpool. That's why this team has brought me, man. For 20, I've been supporting this club since 2000 since I was actually born. But to be fair, since I was born, like I grew into a Madrid household. But in terms of actually supporting the club, I started supporting this club since I was 5, 6, bro. It was all Madrid since then. Would never ever change. And now I'm curious to know why you support Madrid. Why did you fall into love in Madrid? Why did you fall into supporting Madrid? Is it because of family? Which for some people, for most people, it is family. Like you grow up into a household and your family support Madrid, or your family support whatever time, and you pretty much just start supporting them as well. If it's not Madrid, like tell me, you now in the comments, who do you support and why you support? I want to know why. I want to know reasons why you support that club. I've given you my reason in detail. You don't have to be specific. Just tell me why you support that team and what made you fall in love. What was it? And also give me your best moment and your worst moment. My best moment is of course that Decima. My worst moment is the penalty shoot against Bayern Munich. So you in the comments, get involved. Tell me why you support the club, your best moment of that specific club, and your worst moment. But guys, listen, man, thank you so much. For the past 10 videos, man, like I said, this is my 10th video, so I wanted to make it specific. I wanted to make it special. It's a milestone. I've hit 10,000, which is absolute insane. This is my 10th video, which is insane as well, man, to think about it. But listen, this is not, like I said, this is not the end. The season hasn't even started. I'm doing content and the season hasn't even started, and I hope that you guys enjoy them. But when the season starts, it's going to be higher, and hopefully, I don't want to jinx it. Maybe the content's going to go down, but hopefully, like I said, I've got big plans. I'm happy. I hope you guys also enjoyed the live streams that I've been doing as well. Expect more of these moving forward with special guests as well, with different guests, and hopefully in the future, some professional ex-pros footballers. But guys, like I said, thank you as always, and I'll see you next time. Peace!